Today, I'll be summarizing a 2017 Russian science fiction and action movie titled Attraction. The story begins with Yulia, the daughter of a high-ranking Russian military officer, Colonel Valentin Lebedev. Yulia reflects on her life, sharing memories of her late mother and expressing her feelings of loneliness, despite living with her strict father. During a classroom lesson, the teacher discusses an astronomical phenomenon occurring on Earth. A classmate nicknamed Google, known for his nerdy demeanor, appears to have a crush on Yulia. He frequently tries to assist her in answering the teacher's questions. After school, Yulia asks her father for permission to watch the meteor shower that evening. However, Colonel Lebedev denies her request, citing safety concerns. Frustrated with her father's refusal, Yulia calls her rebellious boyfriend Tioma. He encourages her to defy her father's orders, emphasizing that the meteor shower is a rare event that happens only once every 50 years. Later, Tioma picks Yulia up, and they head to the rooftop of a building where a crowd has gathered to watch the event. While there, Yulia reconnects with her close friend Svetlana. After a brief conversation, Tioma and Yulia decide to spend time together in Svetlana's apartment, leaving her behind on the rooftop. Meanwhile, an alien spaceship is seen traveling through the solar system. Suddenly, it is struck by a meteor, causing a critical malfunction that sends it hurtling toward Earth's atmosphere at an alarming speed. The Russian military detects the incoming spacecraft and, mistaking it for a threat, launches missiles at it. The impact further destabilizes the ship, causing it to lose speed but not halt its descent. The spaceship crashes into the city, causing massive destruction and damaging several buildings, including Svetlana's apartment. Tragically, Svetlana is killed instantly in the collapse, while Yulia and Tioma are left in shock, narrowly avoiding falling from the rooftop. The ship continues its uncontrolled descent, destroying structures and claiming hundreds of lives before finally coming to a halt. The military quickly secures the impact zone, moving in to investigate while evacuating the city, suspecting the spacecraft could potentially be a nuclear threat. Colonel Lebedev and Mikhail Poleskin, a deputy from the State Duma, approach the alien craft cautiously, marking the first contact with what appears to be an ancient extraterrestrial being. The military places sharpshooters on standby to prepare for any unexpected aggression. Mikhail attempts to extend a friendly greeting, and the alien seems to acknowledge their presence, responding in an incomprehensible language, hinting at a desire to communicate. Shortly afterward, Colonel Lebedev reports to his superiors, informing them of an agreement with the aliens. They will remain at a safe distance while the extraterrestrial beings repair their damaged spacecraft. However, some members of the military hierarchy push for an immediate strike to destroy the ship, fearing the potential threat. Lebedev, prioritizing diplomacy and avoiding unnecessary conflict, insists on continued observation rather than provocation. Yulia eventually regains consciousness and learns the devastating news of her friend Svetlana's death. While recovering, she sees a news report on TV revealing that her father, Colonel Lebedev, is leading the operation and has overseen the construction of protective barriers around the spaceship, covering a 1-kilometer radius. Stricken with grief, Yulia leaves the hospital to mourn the loss of her close friend. Colonel Lebedev takes Yulia home to stay temporarily with her grandmother. Despite the chaos caused by the crash, classes resume as usual. During a lesson, the teacher expresses his enthusiasm about the possibility of interacting with an alien civilization. However, the students harbor resentment toward the extraterrestrials, blaming them for the loss of friends and family. Their frustration grows as they perceive the military as inactive in addressing the situation. Determined to take matters into her own hands, Yulia secretly takes her father's gun and heads to Tioma's gang hangout. There, she finds Tioma and his friends planning a social media campaign to spread fear and negativity about the aliens. Fueled by her anger and sorrow over Svetlana's death, Yulia convinces the group to infiltrate the quarantine zone and seek revenge. They make their way to an abandoned processing plant and use it as an entry point, eventually sneaking into the restricted area. Tioma suggests that Yulia stay in the car while he and his friends explore the nearby buildings. During their search, they stumble upon an alien object that seems to have crashed through the ceiling. Ignoring Tioma's instructions, Yulia silently sneaks away and ascends to Svetlana's former apartment. While inside, an alien creature suddenly appears, startling her. As Yulia is about to fall, the alien catches her and attempts to communicate. However, before any understanding is reached, Tioma and his gang arrive. They attack the alien, causing it to lose its grip and fall. Rushing to the scene, they discover that the creature's blood has a surprisingly human-like composition. Upon closer inspection, they realize the alien is wearing an exoskeleton armor. When Yulia notices the alien inside the suit, she is shocked to find that it looks strikingly human. Despite this, she chooses to ignore the injured being. The group takes the exoskeleton and the alien object with them, managing to escape unnoticed. That night, Haunted by guilt and unable to sleep, Yulia returns to the building in the quarantine zone. She finds the alien, now gravely injured, and rescues him, hiding him in her car. The following day, Yulia seeks help from Google, who aspires to study medicine. She confides in him, explaining that she feels indebted to the alien and wants to save its life. After examining the alien, Google concludes that its anatomy is remarkably similar to a human's. They take the alien to a hospital and perform a blood test, discovering that Yulia shares the same blood type with the creature. Yulia decides to donate her blood, successfully stabilizing the alien. When the alien regains consciousness, it grabs Yulia's hand, transferring a mysterious metallic bracelet to her. Later, while taking a bath, Yulia realizes the bracelet has unusual properties. It can manipulate water and allows her to control it. Meanwhile, the military retrieves the alien object, which resembles a shield, and begins investigating its capabilities. Colonel Lebedev discovers that the object also has the ability to control water, adding another layer of mystery to the alien technology. Elsewhere, a fisherman is stunned to discover that the water surrounding the alien vessel has mysteriously vanished. Scientists later deduce that the spaceship is drawing in the water to repair itself, as 30% of its external damage has already been restored. Meanwhile, the alien wakes up and surprises Yulia by speaking fluent Russian. Introducing himself as Hakan, he explains that he is searching for a device called the Shilk. After dressing in human clothing, Hakan leaves Yulia and ventures out on his own. While wandering, he is spotted by patrolling officers, who take him to a police station for interrogation. At the same time, Tioma and his gang experiment with the alien exoskeleton. They realize that the armor is perfectly suited for human use. During their examination, one of Tioma's friends accidentally activates the suit, startling the group. Panicking, Tioma decides to contact Colonel Lebedev to hand over the exoskeleton to the military, but the colonel is unavailable. While attempting to return home, Tioma and his friends encounter a crowd enraged by the military's rationing of the local water supply. The situation escalates when one individual provokes the crowd, leading to a violent clash between the civilians and the authorities. Tioma, trying to de-escalate the chaos, is struck from behind by an officer and is subsequently arrested. Shortly afterward, Colonel Lebedev arrives at the scene, but Tioma changes his mind about surrendering the exoskeleton to the military. Meanwhile, back at the police station, an officer interrogating Hakan becomes puzzled when she discovers that his fingers lack any detectable fingerprints. A short while later, Yulia arrives at the police station to help Hakan escape. However, she encounters Tioma in the same room. Tioma is visibly upset and disappointed by her actions, as he begins to question her loyalty. Ignoring his frustration, Yulia decides to take Hakan to meet her father at the perimeter surrounding the alien ship. During their journey, Hakan explains that the Shilk is vital for him to return to his home planet. When they arrive, Yulia fabricates a story, claiming she is pregnant to ensure her father agrees to meet her. Once face-to-face, she introduces Hakan to Colonel Lebedev. In the process, she secretly steals her father's access card and hands it to the alien. Furious, Lebedev orders Hakan to leave immediately, unaware of Yulia's subterfuge. Using the stolen access card, Hakan disguises himself as a scientist and infiltrates the laboratory. He successfully retrieves the Shilk from the alien artifact being studied. It takes the scientists some time to realize that the intruder is not Colonel Lebedev, but by then, Hakan has already escaped, triggering the emergency alarm. Hakan manages to reunite with Yulia and Lebedev outside the lab. Though initially angered, Lebedev eventually orders his men to drive Yulia and Hakan home for safety. Meanwhile, Tioma is released from custody. Reuniting with his friends, he begins organizing a revolt. They modify their vehicle, prepare Molotov cocktails, and arm themselves with baseball bats. Determined to win Yulia back, Tioma calls her to apologize and begs her to join their cause. However, Yulia firmly refuses, choosing to stand by Hakan instead. Back at Yulia's home, Hakan meets her sick dog. Sensing the animal's suffering, Hakan uses the Shilk to heal it. To Yulia's amazement, the dog fully recovers, becoming lively and healthy once more. While sharing a meal, Yulia sees a news report on TV revealing that Hakan has been declared a military fugitive. When Colonel Lebedev and his military convoy unexpectedly arrive at Yulia's home, she and Hakan quickly flee. As they run, Hakan advises her to stop smoking, warning her about its harmful effects. Meanwhile, a hate-filled video targeting the aliens in the military goes viral, inciting public outrage. The video suggests that humanity must defend Earth from these superior beings. It is soon revealed that Tioma and his friends created and distributed the video to spread fear and hatred. Seeking a disguise, Yulia and Hakan visit Google and borrow some clothes. The pair then head to a concert, a place where Colonel Lebedev would have difficulty tracking them. While dancing together, Hakan holds Yulia's hand and shares a vision of his home planet, allowing her to see its beauty. He explains that humans are forbidden from approaching the spaceship. If they try, Sol, the ship's defensive system will destroy it to prevent humans from stealing their advanced technology. Unfortunately, one of Tioma's friends spots Yulia and Hakan at the concert and informs Tioma, enraging him. After the event, Yulia takes Hakan to the spaceship through an abandoned building. During this intimate moment, they kiss, and Yulia confesses her feelings for him. Their peace is short-lived as Tioma and his gang appear, attacking Hakan ruthlessly. When Tioma slaps Yulia, Hakan decides to fight back, demonstrating his physical superiority by easily overpowering the group. One of Tioma's friends attempts to shoot Hakan, but the bullet accidentally hits Ruslan, one of Tioma's closest friends, killing him. Tioma and the others flee as military guards arrive at the scene. Devastated by Ruslan's death, Tioma spreads fake news online, blaming the alien for the tragedy. He calls on the public to riot and attack the spaceship. As people gather, Tioma delivers a provocative speech, accusing the military of siding with the aliens instead of protecting humanity. He urges the crowd to reclaim Earth. The military, under strict orders, holds their fire and focuses on defending their position. However, Tioma's group breaks through the barricades, launching a chaotic attack. Tioma attempts to use the alien exoskeleton during the assault. Sensing the escalating threat, the spaceship activates its defenses, summoning several aliens in advanced suits to protect it. Back at the military base, Yulia confronts her father, revealing that Hakan is not human. She defies Colonel Lebedev's orders and threatens to end her own life, insisting that the right course of action is to return Hakan to his ship, rather than initiating a full-scale military assault. Yulia urgently drives Hakan back to his spaceship, but Tioma, now using the alien exoskeleton, intercepts them. He crashes into Yulia's car, causing her to faint. Hakan, left with no other option, engages Tioma in a fierce battle. Tioma's strength, amplified by the exoskeleton, gives him the upper hand, and he attempts to finish off Hakan. Just in time, Yulia regains consciousness and drives her car into the exoskeleton, damaging it and breaking off one of its arms. The collision ejects Tioma from the suit. In desperation, he grabs a weapon and shoots at Hakan and Yulia. Colonel Lebedev, witnessing his daughter being shot, orders his team to apprehend Tioma. The aliens, now working collaboratively with the humans, bring the injured Hakan, Yulia, and Colonel Lebedev aboard their ship for urgent treatment. Inside the ship, advanced healing capsules are used to stabilize them. Meanwhile, Colonel Lebedev converses with the ship's AI Sol, which communicates in Russian. Sol explains that Earth is regarded as a hostile environment due to its aggressive societal dynamics, making it a restricted zone for extraterrestrial visits. Hakan defends his mission, expressing hope that peaceful relations with humanity are possible, which drove his decision to come to Earth. Sol acknowledges the sincerity of Yulia's love for Hakan and notes that her actions could positively influence the ongoing observation of humanity. Shortly thereafter, Yulia is fully healed and reunites with her father. The alien spaceship departs from Earth, releasing water back into the planet's ecosystem as it leaves. In the final moments, Yulia reflects on the journey, sharing her realization that a being from a distant cosmos had greater faith in humanity's potential than humans themselves often do.